Never let a bad day dictate your fate. We all go through bad days. We all go through ups and downs. Now, these bad days are not really considered bad. These bad days is just basically testing you to see how much you can handle and see how much you can basically carry on your shoulders. So your shoulders are always going to get heavy, and things is always going to expand once you start to learn it. And of course, once you go through different experiences and turmoils. And turmoils is always going to get slippery. It's always going to get messy. But at times, you got to make sure you clean up that mess. You got to make sure that you are doing your 360, making sure that you're not getting phased or caught up into any tangles. You don't want to get caught up into any entanglement season. Because, of course, when you get entangled, your mind, your mentality get tangled with it too. And, of course, once your mind gets wrapped up around certain corners and edges, it starts to basically put you into situations of you getting a wedgie, which means that they have gave you a wedgie, which means you have wedged yourself into a web. And, of course, that spiral is so difficult to get out of that you develop so many areas and spaces that you put too much out there. And when you put too much out there, you got to basically learn how to retract. And when you retract, you always put yourself in a situation of finding that balance. That scale is always key. And the keys to the scales is always being aware of things. In life, you got to basically be ready for any challenge, any situation to basically come your way. And of course, when things come your way, you got to basically think strong. You got to think powerful. And of course, you got to attack the moment, the situation, front head, right on. And also, you're always going to have help. You're always going to be in a situation of individuals being there to cater you, to be aware of you. And of course, you're always going to be seen. And you got to make sure how you're being seen, your attitude, everything got to basically look the part. Once your attitude is off, then the individuals start to basically receive that and they reflect that right back at you. If you come up with a good attitude despite your tough situations, you're showing strength and courage. And of course, individuals will basically be willing to help you, even though they see you struggling. But of course, you got to still be willing to basically be out there, developing a gift, a talent, and of course, putting yourself out there and not just basically be always in the handout or always in need and shit. For me, that's a talent too. But that talent is not really getting you nowhere. That's a talent where individuals are not willingly or ready to put in work or put in strength, and they ain't got nothing going on. You got to have something going on in life. For me, you got to value something, and you always have a purpose on this life. You have a purpose on this earth. You got to utilize your purpose every day, and you got to stay focused. Because when you stay in focus, you have a nice way to attack angles, and make sure you won't get wrapped around the rosy. Because when you get wrapped around the rosy, it's hard to get out that rosy. Feel me? Someone gonna bring you roses one day. Someone gonna bring you roses that's depleted. But make sure you don't deplete yourself just because you had a bad day. And of course, don't ever let that shit dictate or determine your faith. You gotta have faith. You gotta stay focused and determined.